SURF is actually it stands for the Stockton Urban Revitalization Fellowship. So me, Alanis, and there's about a team of 10 of us.
Yeah.
There's about 10 surf fellows that work with different organizations here in Stockton, and we get to just help out these organizations, get nonprofits that work in the community. So we get to do we actually get to go out into the community and help out with their initiatives and help build them as an organization. So it's a pretty fun internship. It's very interesting.
How did you guys get selected? What's the process?
Yeah, so they kind of posted on Facebook. A lot of its, I guess, supporters and everything also shared it on their networks, and it was more of an online process. So we would fill out really not super long, but just a couple paragraphs about who we are, like what are we interested in, what kind of change do we want to see in Stockton, or what do we feel is more prominent issues. And then after I think about a couple months, I think it was in February we had to turn it in, and then in April we started interviewing, and then they selected us in May or something around that time. Yeah.
So you both put down that you were interested in the arts. Is that what you?
So I put down that I'm very interested in just civic engagement in general.
Mm-hmm.
And most organizations, most nonprofits work with civic engagement and want people to be engaged with their organization or what their initiative is. And so civic engagement is very general, it's broad. And then I was actually tied to the arts. So everybody in my family, actually, they draw, they paint. And so I'm very tied from my family to the arts, and so going to the organization that I went into it was a good fit for me.
Yeah. What can I ask you what your mother's name is?
My mother's name is Patricia.
Oh, okay.
Patricia
All right. Okay. So and I know that you're interested in the arts, right?
I do have some interest. I'm more science based, but I think when I was filling out the application, I put my interest in education as well, and in like nonprofit organizations. And I think with this organization that I'm placed in, it's called Hatch Workshop. They do have the potential to expand on education in an aspect that isn't really hit on anymore, and that's in terms of like art and woodworking and things that people do with their hands and skill crafts and stuff like that. And I thought that was really interesting and important, and I really wanted to delve into that. And because art isn't, I wouldn't say it's my passion, but it's definitely a large interest that I have in just seeing like how, especially in the downtown area, because that's where they're located, how we can continue to expand the arts and make it more attractive of a scene, especially just because I know there's a lot of stigma, and spending a lot of downtown myself, just being mesmerized by the architecture and trying to see how we can modernize it, especially with the murals that were put up recently in the last couple years.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was really beautiful, and I would really love to see more of that. So I think working here is kind of inspiring me to do something like that.
You mentioned stigma. What do you mean?
Yeah, so just from my experience, I actually went to a school downtown. It's called Stockton Collegiate. So I was downtown since 5th grade up until I graduated. So I spent almost 7 years downtown every day. And what I noticed, especially if I would stay late for after school programs or something like that, downtown Stockton would sort of be alive during the work time, but after 4 o'clock, it'd be really like no one would be on the street. It was very quiet, kind of eerie, especially like once it got dark. And there's just, I know personally, like when I would tell people, oh, I go to a school downtown, they just kind of look at me funny and be like, oh, or like, are you okay? Do you see like, do people weird approach you kind of thing? And it's just a stigma because you don't really have people who want to be downtown after a certain time or feel like there's nothing to do downtown that attracts them. And when you look at other cities like San Francisco or any city in the Bay or Los Angeles, like their downtown is very vibrant. Even Sacramento, to some extent, their downtown is vibrant.
Sure.
So it's really interesting to see that contrast, because Stockton could have that potential, but it just doesn't because people have a fear.
So mainly the stigma is about downtown.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. I love downtown, and I'll be there any time of the night or day. And that's to me, that's the best part of Stockton.
Yeah.
There is the Miracle Mile, and we do have Yosemite Street. We have Lincoln Center, but I want to be downtown.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all the action is for me. The Mexican Heritage Center,
Sure.
20 years of that, over 20 years. Now we have Channel Brew, the Cast Iron Trading Company. We got the Fonz Museum, got the theater, got the waterfront. That's the place to be. What do you think, Josh?
I especially love downtown. It's funny because I only get to spend my time downtown during the summers because I usually intern or I'm working down there somehow, and I want to emphasize so much to other people, like, let's go downtown to eat. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many such good food down there. There's so much action.
So what's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, that's too hard.
Ah.
That's a too
Come
hard
on,
one.
give me a couple.
I would say one of my favorites is Papa Herbs.
Okay.
Papa Herbs is
All
a
right.
big shout out for them. They're very amazing food. I love going to Terra Coffee.
Terra, good.
The employees are so kind all the time, so generous and so nice all the time. And going in there, it's a great workspace. And it's in the Mexican and Heritage Center where there's a lot of art there, and so.
And that's a place that always draws a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, some people are afraid to be downtown. They're really missing out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys been to Mimosas?
I've seen it.
Oh.
I haven't been able to go yet.
Oh,
but
it
I
is
really
so
want-
fantastic. Big portions. And that building, I've lived here like 26 years now. And I've seen so many things go in and out of that building.
Yeah.
But they have really turned that building around. And it's just amazing. You got to take all your friends. Okay, Mimosas.
Okay.
So, Josh, you said what did you graduate high school?
I just graduated high school I graduated from Cesar Chavez this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
So are you going to college?
Yeah,
or?
I'm actually gonna be staying here in Stockton. I'm gonna be going to UOP as a
good.
political science major,
Oh, great.
and so and maybe minor in history. There's some debate in my mind about that, but I'm really excited to be here in Stockton, centered in my hometown. I love Stockton. I have such a big passion for it and the improvement of it in the future, and so being here and being able to work with the people that I've met here throughout my college career, I know it's just gonna be I'm gonna have an amazing time in general.
So what about you, Alanis? Where are you going to college?
Yeah, I'm a second year now at UCLA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm studying biochemistry with a minor in public affairs and Spanish.
So this is your break time then for the summer? Or?
Yeah. I'm on summer break right now, and I came back home because I just wanted to do something here. Every summer I usually find some type of internship or some type of connection downtown or just to Stockton to give back.
Uh-huh.
I know last summer I was doing an internship at Fathers and Families
Oh, okay.
downtown, so I was working there too. So I definitely agree with like the nightlife. I love downtown. I always find myself there and like knowing where everything is in the back of my hand. And just to touch on what you were saying earlier too, I think a lot of people miss out on the little holes in the walls. Like you never really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There used to actually be there was a place called the Hole in the Wall.
Really?
And they tore it down to put the Ed Coy parking garage right by the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It was I think Bunny's Hole in the Wall. She got moved several times, but so I wanted to talk to you guys about Hatch. That is such a wonderful group of people.
Yeah.
Awesome. They're so amazing.
And you said they moved now.
Yes, they actually moved. I think a couple. So they used to be on one side of the train tracks, and
Right.
they moved just to the other
Other
side.
side, right.
And the new space it's functional for them. It's so amazing. They had to change a little bit of their initiatives up a little bit, but they're still offering the same the space for artists that want to have a private space for themselves, so they can come in and create their art and then go out and sell it. They're still offering classes and different mentorships.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same Hatch. One thing that they weren't able to follow through with was the living spaces, because they used to have living spaces up in the building that they used to be at, but in this new building they don't have that. But there is the new at the Medico Dental. The Medico Dental building. They're actually building art spaces for artists to come in and hang out in those and live in those then the metal go down to the
That'll be
building.
very exciting.
Yeah, it will. It'll bring in artists from all over and also promote our artists here in Stockton so they can have an affordable place to live and then also work on their art and sell it. So it's a really cool opportunity for all the artists here.
And what I really like about the new Hatch space, they have a lot of outdoor space.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I look forward to seeing some things there outside.
They're actually planning on doing stuff like pizza parties and having a huge outside area with a canopy, so everybody gets to hang out there and just have community events there, just to hang out and chill and eat some pizza. They're thinking of actually making a pizza like a
a pizza oven.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're excited about that one.
Oh, good. So what are you guys doing to help them? How's it working? You do their social media, or what exactly do you do?
Yeah. So coming into the fellowship, we had two different programs or two different organizations we could choose from with their own list of like objectives or things they would like us to do. So for Hatch, because they're a nonprofit, they're fairly new. They've only been around for about 2 years, and they haven't really been able to open the public because of the many like internal issues with trying to open the building and making it safe. So for them, a lot of it's a lot of groundwork. So for us as interns, we're working on trying to create a case of support for them to try to increase their donations. Josh was saying earlier that for the last about year, they've been really focused on their like production teams aspect, and that what that looks like is just by word of mouth helping other local organizations with any like signage or any little making that they would like. So I know like for Channel Brewery, you know, the
Right.
Delta sign, they helped him with that, and then they were all the little coasters in his little beer, I forgot what they're called, but they help with that. So to do that, the purpose behind that was just to be able to fund their overhead, so that way they can try to keep the space open and try to fund all the renovations and little things that they need to do. And so because now they're moving to a new building, they can try to lean away from their production team like they wanted to, because what their focus is and what they hope to do once they open is first, provide local artists with a private studio, being able to provide that space, and then helping them with their like monetizing, marketing their work if they would like to, so entrepreneurship workshops and mentorship. And they also hope to open more educational workshops in like woodworking, metalworking, ceramics, like learning how to use like a laser cutter, just like all this technology and things that aren't accessed like through high school or any opportunity to see that or be exposed to that. And so for us, our job is to make a case of support where we try to create about maybe like a 4 or 5 page document where we explain who they are, what their mission is, what do they have to offer, and try to get donors and people to invest in their vision to be able to give back through education and through helping local artists.
So right now they have a what is the page that they are collecting funds on? It's something I haven't heard before. Crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just almost like a GoFundMe in some sense. Yeah.
So do you know how much they've raised so far? Or?
Yeah. I'm not sure what their goal was, but I think it was about, so far it's 6,000. I think they're aiming to raise about 30.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep on going. Okay, it's gone up a little bit. Yes. Okay. How nice. And I know I just love seeing them out in the community. Yeah. They have been going to the stock market. Yeah. They go over to In Season. They made their sign. They brought a lot of their the laser cutter and welding and just all these different things out to that place. And so I made a little, designed my little laser thing, and saw it being cut out. And
so you were able to work with them?
Yeah, it was so exciting.
Yeah, they're working on teaching us a little by little while we were there at the office. So while we're working, we also get to learn a little bit about wood shop and a little about metalworking. And so they're such generous people. And the fact that they chose to come to Stockton and chose to start this organization here is just amazing, because it's some place that some people just wouldn't see as an opportunity to build this organization or build something like this. But they saw the potential, they saw the opportunity here, and they see the artists, they see us, and they know that everybody has that potential to create in them, and they're wanting to tap into that potential. They're wanting to like get youth into their space, and so they can teach those youth how to create and how to make this furniture and sell and monetize their work even, and become a part of their production team. So one of their visions was that Hannah was telling me that where a kid can come in and build something and sell it to a business here in Stockton, and then 10 to 15 years later walk down the streets that they used to walk down when they were a kid and see that sign that they made to help beautify Stockton and help beautify their city. And so that was something that really sticks
great.
with me throughout the whole internship. I love that.
So what's the youngest age? Do you know what age they would start at teaching?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure.
They youth. They say that specifically youth, so I think that's about 13 to 26, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it may be a little bit younger too.
So maybe junior high?
Yeah, junior high. Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that. We'd have to ask.
All right,
about
you guys gotta get up on that one. Okay. So what is? I know you were saying about a soft opening. Do you have a date on that, or?
Soft opening would be, I believe it's sometime in August.
I want to say the second week of August.
Yeah, maybe 5th, maybe the 5th, and so they're hoping to soft open then and get people in so they can start working with the community more. That's their basic goal.
So
do
you know what they would do, like special for the opening, or?
It's nothing too special, just opening their doors open, and when they're grand open, that's when they're gonna make a big facade out of it. So once their grand opening happens, they're probably gonna have like pizza, have people come in and from the community, and once they're all set up, painted, have all the walls up, because they need to build some walls in the space that they're in. And so once they're all set up, they're gonna do a big summer blowout.
Yeah.
So the soft opening is kind of an open house, or?
Kind of, yeah.
Where people that are already monetizing the work, people that are working on their work can actually come in and even rent a private studio for themselves and start working in the space.
Okay. Yeah, I went at to the open house at their other location.
Oh, okay.
They threw the doors open and everybody came in. We were so excited to see that. One of the things you mentioned about the no living space, but the other hatch area, they were going to have a gallery. Do you know?
Oh yeah, they're definitely still going to have a gallery.
They're going to have a gallery.
Yeah, they're gonna set it up in the front, and so at first they're gonna put some of their work, but then slowly they're gonna take out their work and start putting the work of the students, the work of the youth, and work of the artists that are actually there and working in the space. And so their gallery is still gonna be there, and they're ready to show off of the work that people make.
All right, I want to make some things.
Yeah.
yes.
I even want to go in there once in a while and make some things and show people like what a great organization they are, what great people they are.
So do they do 3D printers?
They do. They have a 3D printer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool. They haven't showed it to us. I don't think they've set it up yet, but I'm excited to see that too.
Another thing, okay, we need your help, Nate. Transportation is always an issue, just trying to get around. It would be so great, like I've been taking the Van Gogh bus because I don't drive. And so he comes right to my house and picks me up. But that we could get like a little shuttle bus that could take people over there, I think that would really be helpful. Have you heard anything about that? Or?
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything that they were thinking about transportation yet. I know they're not relatively close to the RTD bus station.
Right.
I think they're about maybe 3 or 4 blocks.
It's more than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because they're mainly over the tracks.
Yeah.
They're like really close to the Cabral train station. You can walk from that, but that's further than.
Yeah, but we'll have to discuss that with them.
You should talk to. I think her name's Donna. But the head of RTD,
Oh yeah.
and if she could provide some kind of shuttle that could take people over there,
Yeah.
it would make it a lot easier.
It would definitely.
And mainly you have all those schools around there. You could take all the
Yeah.
school kids to go over.
Oh.
Do you guys you think they'll be having like field trips?
They actually, well, right now they've actually had to take themselves to the schools, so they've been actually been working with schools already. So they'll take some of their equipment to the schools and teach the kids about woodworking or metalworking in a smaller version. But once that happens, they do want to have field trips coming to them, and they do want to have more youth coming to them with schools, with our education, because a big part of our education system here in Stockton is that we don't have a lot of wood shop, or we don't have a lot of metalworking classes in SUSD. So having Hatch as a center point for wood shop, metalworking, and ceramics, and just the arts in general, will bring a lot of students to come and find their passion in that, because sometimes we don't have that. So having those kids come and actually work on these projects, it'll maybe inspire some students to maybe not go to a 4-year but go to a trade school, and work in trades, because Hannah was telling me that that people that are in woodworking or metalworking, they can make up to $80,000 a year.
Oh yeah.
$80,000 to $100,000 a year, and I was like, why aren't more people doing it? We can
Sure.
actually bring in so much profit, economic profit here in Stockton, if we brought the trades in and emphasized it a little more.
Yeah, and actually, there's the Jane Fredericks High School is just a couple blocks from the new location now. The high school students could even just walk over
Yeah.
to you guys.
Right.
Yeah. So once it's accessible to the youth and once it's accessible to the public, that's a big hope for them.
Yeah.
So how much longer do you have for the internship? Or?
3 weeks.
About
correct?
3 weeks.
3
Yeah.
weeks. It's going by too quickly.
It is.
It is going by so quickly.
It is.
It was I was overjoyed when I found out with my best friend. We both found the acceptance letter together, and we both confirmed together. And so now that we're here, now that we're learning, it's going by so fast.
So who was your best friend?
Vladimir. He actually worked with both me and Alanis at Hatch.
Oh, okay.
But he wasn't able to make it today because he has to get up at 3:30 tomorrow morning to head
Oh,
to
wow.
SF
Oh, boy.
for some business. But he would have loved to be here otherwise. Yeah.
So when they look for interns, do you know what age that starts at, you think?
Yeah. In terms of serve, I think it's after you graduate. You have to be at least
Okay.
18 and
Okay.
graduating, or graduated by the time the internship starts.
Yeah.
And what about just like Hatch would they just have interns
Oh, yeah.
themselves?
In the
or-
future, they do want a few interns, a social media intern, and people that are more experienced in social media, and then people to work at the front desk and just help around the space.
So
Yeah.
like high school age, maybe?
Yeah,
or-
they would love high
Maybe.
school.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know a little girl who wants to be an intern, but I think she's still in grammar schools.
Yeah, if she wants to be an intern now, she has a big future ahead of her. There's a lot of internships that she can find here in Stockton that work around arts, that work around just being a member of this community and helping a community out.
So, you said about a lot of internships with the arts. What other ones are there?
Once Hatch opens up, so there'll be some internships with there.
Right.
I haven't encountered many other than that, but I'm hoping Hatch will be a big,
Sure.
like a big change for Stockton in the arts,
Yeah,
because
it is.
we deserve a big arts program. We have so much potential here in Stockton for that, and Hatch opening up, it hopefully will bring that attention to the arts, and it will bring that attention especially to downtown and to the students and to the youth here in Stockton, because I grew up around the arts. My cousin was a painter. She paints some beautiful beautiful scenery.
What's her name?
Her name's Kayla Campus.
Okay.
She didn't make it big in the arts, but she's very talented at it, and because she didn't think she could monetize her work, because she didn't think she could actually sell it and make profit off of it, she didn't go into it. And so bringing Hatch into here, they're changing that dynamic. They're changing that stereotype
Mm-hmm.
where artists can't make money off of their work, but they can.
Right.
And with the right training, with the proper knowledge of how to monetize your work and how to sell it and how to get out there
Mm-hmm.
and create your own personal brand, then it'll start to inspire others in Stockton to be artists and be the people and entertain and just be in that frame of work.
So actually, I was just thinking about where I would like. I'm an artist myself, and I'd like my art to go. I'd like to go into public art. So making things, making sculptures, making pieces for cities.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing is I don't know how to, like, all that fabrication stuff. I could probably design the piece, but maybe Hatch could help me fabricate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, I believe like they will teach you. They will literally go through every step with you. They were teaching us this yesterday, was it?
Yeah, yesterday.
They're teaching us little like how to put wood together and glue it together. How the long grain has to be with long grain, because if you put it with short grain, the short grain will suck it up and it won't hold. So they were just teaching us little by little, and while we were helping them out, just move stuff and put stuff away. And so they really have a passion just to teach and to teach people how to do this.
So is that wood? Is that for the laser cutter? Or?
No, that's just regular woodworking. Just
Okay.
like having 2 slabs of wood. If you have 2 slabs of wood, the long grain, when it goes up and down, the longer parts of it, if you put those parts together, I'm just trying to speak off of what they taught me, but if you put wood glue in between that and put those two parts together, it's actually a stronger hold than if you put it long, like the short grain, side by side. It's called end grain, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So they're even saying, like, if you hit it with a sledgehammer, the part where the glue is won't actually break. It'll probably be somewhere in the middle of the wood where the glue isn't existent. So
Wow.
it's actually pretty cool, and we were fascinated by every single word.
And it had to rise because they were showing us all the different chairs and tables they were making, and they were explaining to us how they were trying to design it in a way where they could break it apart and then put it in pieces, and then, if they were selling it, that when they ship it would be cheaper rather than we're selling one whole big table and spending maybe $100 or something bucks on shipping. You could break it apart or fold it somehow, so when they ships and it gets to that person, they could take it out and just like put it together with like 1 or 2 screws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're explaining, like, because of how they wanted to like fit in together, the wood has to be a certain way and you can't glue it. Yeah, it was really interesting.
It's really, really interesting.
Oh, wow.
You have to go in there and have them explain it to you, because we are not experts on the subject.
I think I need to go hear that one.
Yeah.
So how many people work at Hatch?
I want to say there's about 5.
5, 6 maybe.
5 or 6.
I think 6. Yeah, there's not too big of a team, but their passion drives them to work hard for this community.
Most definitely, yeah.
And the last Hatch, they had a big mural on the wall. Are they going to be painting some of that, or?
I hope so, and I hope I get to be a part of that. 'Cause me and Alanis, we both like saying, like, when they start painting, we better be there. We want to be a part of that painting.
So what would you like to paint?
I don't know. Maybe something similar to the one at the last one, but something that represents Stockton, something that represents us as a community. And we really have to dig deep to find that, because there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of cultures here. Maybe something that represents culture.
That would be good.
Because Stockton's such an amazing city, and all the people in here, we support each other even though we don't know it. Like, sometimes we support each other. We always help each other out, and we're kind to each other. I actually heard somebody say the other day to us, the fellows, that he lived in San Francisco for 15 years. He lived in San Francisco for 15 years. And for over 15 years, moving to Stockton, he made more friends in Stockton over 1 year than he did living for 15 years in San Francisco.
Wow.
And so there's something special about Stocktonians. There's something special about who we are and what we do. We're hard workers, but we're also loving and compassionate.
For sure.
And I also heard another person say that she comes from the Bay Area, and she's like, I like nobody in the Bay Area. Like I come from like I think she said Bay Point. She's like nobody calls us. We don't call ourselves Bay Pointians, but the Stockton people from Stockton call themselves Stocktonians. They're proud of being.
Stocktonians, yes.
We're proud of being from
Yeah.
Stockton, and so there's something special about us, and we get to see that firsthand. Yeah.
Very, very good. I grew up in Richmond myself, and I traveled all these different cities, and then finally when I came to Stockton, I said, "This is my place. This is my home. This is where I live." So,
Yeah.
so Alanis, do you think when you get done with school, are you gonna come back here? Or?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm planning afterwards, hopefully, med school. I want to become a doctor and then come back. But yeah, I know like in my heart this is where I want to be and this is home. I'm third generation Stocktonian. My family's really invested in the community. So I just know like this is where I want to be for sure.
And I just want to give a shout out. I had Davina Cologne, your sister, on, and she's a very talented artist. And I had your mother on, Sophia Cologne. And you have a brother, right?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Okay, we got to get him on.
Yeah.
Yes. Would that be your whole family?
I have 3 younger brothers.
Okay, 3. All
So
right.
when
All
the
right,
youngest one grows up, for sure he'll probably be on here too.
Because I think your brother just went on an internship of his own. He went.
Yeah, in a way. It wasn't. I'm not sure if it was an internship, but he was selected through Stockton Scholars, or Stockton Scholars have referred him to this program. Like it's like a camping leadership program, and he actually got to fly out. He just got back yesterday. Actually, he got for 3 weeks. He flew out to Wyoming, and then they went all the way down into Utah, and they stayed in Utah at a Native American reservation, and then helped there. But during their trip down to Utah, they were river rafting, hiking through the canyons and the mountains. They were just doing so much stuff. He hasn't told me everything yet, but he loved it.
How old is he now?
He's 17. I know.
Goodness. I've been watching him grow up. So he's almost. Is this his last year in high school?
Yes, he's a senior at Franklin.
Oh my goodness! Word. All right. Maybe you can ask him. I'll get him on.
Yeah.
Your whole family, you guys really know the meaning of service and giving back. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, we all
true
pull
inspirations.
ourselves. Yeah, thank you.
They really are.
And so I know the Saenz family. I've heard of you guys forever. So
Yeah. I'm actually a second generation. My mom was born and raised here. Here. Well, she was born in Southern California, but then from 4 years old and on, she was here for the rest of her life, and she's plans on staying here because of the community, and I plan on staying here. I want to go to UOP and then just keep working in the community, maybe build a nonprofit of my own, or run for a government position, maybe city council, mayor, or
yes.
or board of SUSD.
Right, mayor.
Let's see where that goes. I'm really excited. I do really want to just help my community improve. That's one big passion that I have. Just inspire others to help Stockton too, and inspire people to love this city, and be their best selves. One thing that I always say is my biggest passion, or my biggest passion is to always inspire others. Or this is what I want most in life. This is it. I want to change the world, and changing the world for one person, it's still the world to them. So if I can change the world for one person, and they will go change the world for another person, it'll be a chain reaction, and then finally the world will be changed for a generation of people. So that's my biggest quote. That's something I always say, and I really want to inspire others to think the same way.
Very good. So you guys have. I know you've heard of the Art Splash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you heard of the Art Splash?
I actually got to attend this past year.
Okay. And so I'd like you more people to get involved in that. We really could build that up.
Yeah.
It's in its 8th year, And if for what we can do in downtown there, so get the word out.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. It was such an amazing event too. I got to attend this year with Hatch. I was there at their booth, but then I got to
Okay,
go
so
travel around for a little
so
bit.
you saw the Fonz Museum.
Oh yes.
What did you think?
It is so awesome. I just learning the history that behind the Filipino Americans here, and it's funny because a lot of my friends growing up have been Filipino, and knowing the history but behind their culture, it inspires me. It just like everything inspires me about Stockton. All the history, all the cultures here. It keeps. It's like you keep throwing lighter fluid into the flame I have for the passion of Stockton. So learning more about the city it's just amazing.
Well, that's great. So, Alanis, I know you were on a team a few years ago. You were trying to put a new mural downtown. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah.
What your design was, or
It was a very short experience. I don't really know. I think they weren't able to secure a building for the mural.
Right.
But it was about like 3 weeks consecutively we had met, and we were trying to design a mural. I think it was like on I forgot what the building's actually called, but it's where Rainbow is downtown.
the factory to you.
Yeah. They wanted to put a mural there, but they didn't end up doing that, and then they kind of just I don't know what happened with the project.
What was your design? Do you remember?
I think it was like 4 years ago. I think it was I can't remember. I want to say it was like a Stockton skyline, and then it had like we were gonna put some historical Stocktonian figures, but we hadn't decided. We just knew we wanted 3 kind of lined up in the back, kind of like fading into the sky, and then like a quote, and I can't remember what it was.
That sounds so great, wonderful. We need more buildings for murals. Yes, okay. All you building owners, I wish I was one. Then I could give.
Give all your space.
I would, and keep all the historic murals. I think.
Yeah, most definitely.
We can have historic and we can have new ones. I mean, there's enough walls that we don't have to be painting over old murals.
Yeah, for sure.
It really broke my heart over at the deliberation room when they painted over the historic mural.
I don't think I'd seen it. Which
the whole side of it? It was from the 80s. It was the Greg Custodio mural, and his it was kind of a settling of the West, and like a pioneer with the covered wagon and rancheros and the missionaries and the whole thing. There was some depictions of Indians and the missions, and so there was the good of history and the bad of history, and I don't think we can just cover over something because we don't like it. I mean, it happened, but I do like Monique Lujan. She recommended that. Like you were saying, we have so many different cultures, and those really aren't being represented in our murals. It would be lovely to like I go to all the different festivals. I'd love to see that in murals.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I actually worked on I worked on a mural project for the when I was interning at the mayor's office last year. And one of our ideas was actually to get people from each ethnic community and create like a Mount Rushmore of Stockton. So it would have been like Larry Attilion, and there's a few other people that we named from different communities, from the African American community, from the Filipino community, and the Hispanic community.
Dolores Huerta.
Dolores Huerta was one of them, and that was one we wanted to do, but we couldn't find the artist that could do it, or in building space either.
And we need a wall.
We need a wall, exactly. But we did end up doing a mural over on the building that Girls Who Code is.
The what?
Girls Who Code.
Where is it?
It's more down south. I forgot the name of the building, but it's on a wall but down there, and it's actually representative of the whole Roses from Concrete idea. And so they're like,
is it close to Charter Way or?
I believe so. It's down south somewhere.
How would I look that up? Can you put like a photo of it online or?
I actually haven't been able to see it. So the thing is, the weekend that they painted it, the week that they painted it, I had to go on I sing jazz, and so I had to go to Sac State for a jazz competition. But it's up there, and it's on the building, and it's like this. It looks like a form of a bird in geometric shapes, and it's rising from a stem, which looks like a rose stem with thorns.
Oh wow!
So it's
I need
a really
to see
cool
this mural.
And we actually got community members in on the project, so we knocked on some doors, and some kids came out and started painting little tiny versions of it, and little triangles all over. It's a really cute, and just the activity was. They said it was so fun, and I'm so sad I had to miss it, but. It's up there, and I'm really proud to be part of the planning of that one. Yeah.
Wow. So you guys met at the city hall, or how did you do the planning?
Well, I was formerly an intern at the office of Mayor Tubbs, and so they had us plan a community service project. So they were saying, okay, so like we don't really want to like clean up trash. We clean up trash every week, every month, and every other week. So try to think of something different, something cool, something new that you guys could do. And so I was part of the planning of that. So we were sitting there, we were like, what can we do? And we were like, let's do a mural. And so we started. We got one of actually a Stocktonian herself. Her name's Mia. She went to UOP, I believe. She just graduated. She's a local artist here, and she actually did the whole design for us, and she helped us paint and everything. So it was a mural done by Stocktonians, thought of by Stocktonians, and initiated by and created, actually painted by Stocktonians, people that live in the community. So
was the mayor at those meetings?
No, he wasn't at the meetings, but he actually went to the event and helped paint.
So who was in charge of?
It was a collection of interns. So it was me, a few other interns. There was Rio Padilla, Jessica, and Rita, Erica, and a few other interns that were there. And so we all sat around a table for a few days a week, and we planned that out.
Wow.
But it was done by interns, people from. I think I was 17 at the time. I was 17. I was 17. Yeah, I was 17 at the time, and it was from 17-year-olds to I believe 23-year-olds, and so we all got together on that and helped and made that project. It was really cool.
All right, I gotta drive all over and try to find this thing.
Yeah, I believe so. If you look up Girls Who Code, they should have the address there,
Okay.
but I believe it's on that building.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Wow. So, Alanis, what do you know what is next for you? Like when you go back to school, or what are you going to be doing?
In terms of classes, I'm gonna start physics. Never
Oh,
done
wow.
physics
Oh,
before.
boy.
So, yeah,
Good luck with that one.
That's my big hurdle right now. But in terms of like what I want to do, I do want to hopefully get into like a research lab. I really love science. Yeah, I think I'm hoping next summer along the way, or hopefully when I get there, I can land in an internship at like a clinic, like a community medical center over there, or something of that sort. Or possibly go back and volunteer at the veterans home. They have a veterans home like right down the street. So I did volunteer last year. So I think I want to go back and be more hands-on in terms of like volunteering hours, because they do a lot of like art therapy and bingo and other things, and I think that was really interesting, and that's something I definitely want to do. Especially I was placed specifically in the memory care units.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a lot of like art therapy and sculptures and stuff like that, and I really want to help and learn more about that.
And that's what Davina is doing.
That's why I get really interested, because then I can understand from also like my own perspective and seeing how other people do it, like what she's about to get into, because she wants to do art therapy and that type of stuff. So yeah.
Well, while we're on that subject, I don't know if you guys can see my shirt. But this was kind of an art therapy I did over the weekend. Up in Reno, they have a big chalk festival. And so there was probably about 100 people out there doing chalk drawing. But usually I do, like a little logo or something lighthearted. This time I did a memorial piece to one of my cousins. And every time we went up to Reno to see her, we would go on outings, have our birthdays together, concerts, went to the planetarium, did all these wonderful things together. And so a couple of years ago, she passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so I wanted to remember her. So I did like a scene, divided the parking space up into 6 different pieces, and drew each little scene of our times together.
Oh.
And
beautiful.
it was so emotional. I didn't want to go out there and do it, but once I did it, it made me feel so much better. I worked it through and got it out, and did something to honor her.
Yeah.
So I can understand how healing art can be.
Yeah, most definitely.
And, so I had to figure out, what was it that I wanted to show. I went and I found like all different reference photos. I had over like 50 different photos. I'm looking through them. Okay, what am I going to use? So, I mean, there was so much work to it, but it just helped me get out a lot of those emotions.
Yeah.
And being able to talk to people, all the visitors that came by and looked, and I got to tell them about my cousin, and a lot of them, it brought a little tear to their eye, So art can be very healing, and it can really help you, say what you need to say.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very. I know that's why I draw. I usually sketch, but that's why I started learning how to do art, was because I just wanted something to put my emotions down, to release, to feel, as a therapy. That's why I started drawing, and I do little sketches here and there of people, of things. Still not too great at it, but I'm getting there. I've been working over the years to improve my art, and actually got an iPad Pro, and I downloaded an app called Procreate, and it's like a little drawing app, and so I'm learning how to draw like digitally now, which is a lot harder.
Yeah.
And so, but it's actually really cool, and I do draw for the same reason. It's very therapeutic, it's very healing. It's a healing process for me too. I totally relate with you.
So yeah, if you guys want some more experience with art, right across the street we have the Goodwin Gallery, and they're doing a lot of different classes now. And then also at the Teen Center, they have a thing called Jagged Lines of the Imagination.
Wow.
They got a whole little art classroom.
Wow.
And it's for kids, but it's also for adults.
Yeah.
So if you want to, improve your skills on that.
Yeah, I've actually gone in there and actually got to see it once.
Really?
It was so cool.
Gotta check it out.
And seeing all the art that was made by the youth was just like, they're really good. It's like, this was made by a 7-year-old. Like, a 7-year-old drew this? What? I cannot get close to that. But it's really cool. It's a really cool program.
And some of the art expressions of San Joaquin, there's a guy, Don Aguilar. He does spray paint art. And he's teaching a class over at the Teen Center. So everybody was making these like spray painted outer space kind of moons and galaxies, and it was pretty incredible.
Wow.
So.
Gotta check
Yeah,
it
I
out.
love those.
And you mentioned that you sing.
I do sing. I've been singing
Sings
since I
really
was about
good.
3 years old.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's some really nice places. Like, have you ever been to the Blackwater?
I've never been to
Kev-
Blackwater.
Oh, okay.
You gotta
Help me. Okay. So this is a wonderful place to, they have an open mic, And so you can do music, poetry, whatever you want to do. It's usually on Wednesday evenings. It's right on Yosemite Street.
Okay.
I think it's 912. That's not the right address. Maybe 921. But it's right on Yosemite Street, in between Acacia and Park, I think.
Oh, okay.
So there's like about 15 businesses, a little block of businesses. And they have wonderful, like a chicken tostada. They have brunch on the weekends. It's just great.
I haven't eaten dinner, so you're just reeling me in.
You said you were going over to Werla's. They have some great food over there too.
I'm very excited.
And music. Maybe
great music,
you could get up there on their stage and play.
I've gotten to perform on their stage a couple times throughout the year in my high school career. So yeah, I really love Wertler's. It's my brother used to play there a lot. He sometimes still does play there.
So what do you play?
My brother plays bass. Well, actually, he plays about 7 different instruments. I can't say he's just a bassist. He's a really talented musician. And I sing and I play a little bit of piano, some ukulele. But anything to support just vocals in general. Singing has just been my passion throughout my life. And everybody, and again, everybody in my family plays some type of instrument. They all sing. They play music. So I learned from them. And my mom is a great singer. I love her. She really taught me all the technique she learned from 3 years old to when I entered high school, and then when I entered high school is when I started learning more and more. So it's been a part of me since I was little.
All right, you need to come to Art Splash. Maybe you could sing at the Art Splash.
I would love to. I would love to. Just recently, people in the city like Lang and Jasmine and Zulema, and they've just started getting me to sing out in the community. And I would never sing out in the community before. I'd like help out. I would just go and support. And now they're getting me involved with my voice. And so Lang at the surf what is it, networking event, at the surf networking event, Meet the Fellows, Lang was like, they're finally getting you to sing and I'm not even gonna be there. Oh my gosh. And so I'm starting to venture out in my vocals with the community. But yeah, and so I have a little bit of a plan in my head for maybe an album in the future, but I don't know. So do you write music, or what's your favorite thing to sing? My favorite thing to sing, like genre? Right. Genre. Honestly, I just love making people feel emotion, and like inspired, even sadness, happiness, joy. I love seeing that reaction on their face, and just and performing in general, and letting them feel some type of emotion. So anything, I sing Imagine a lot by John Lennon. That one always brings inspiration to people, hope. I sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then I also sing some Broadway songs, some songs that some from Dear Evan Hansen, a song called Waving Through a Window. And that musical is about a kid with social anxiety, and that song is just him explaining to the world, like, I don't know how to interact with people, and it's a struggle for him. So I love singing songs that actually get to the heart and make you feel something. So have you ever written a song? Or? It's hard. It's so hard for me to write songs. I think I need to get more confidence in my writing. But I've tried writing some songs here and there, and sometimes I think it's just everybody, but sometimes the lyrics, I'm like, oh, I really like this. I like how this sounds, and then other times I was like, what did I just write? I'm like, I wrote something about a tree and some grass, so I'm like, what's happening here? But I'm gonna try venture into that a little more, into my writing skills. So yeah. Let's see. So if they keep having the Stockton Song Contests, you've heard of Brandon James, his the Port City We Love, and maybe you could be
the winner of the next
The next
Stockton
song.
Do it.
song contest.
That'd be great. I mean, it'd be nice, but my passions lie in just helping the community, inspiring people. So it'd be cool. It'd be cool to win a contest like that. But in general, if I did make an album, if I did make songs, they would be very specific to Stockton and Stocktonians, something that we can relate to, something that moves us, and even do some like covers of old songs. Like today, we were actually at the Eyesight of Stockton rally, and I sang "We Shall Overcome," and maybe doing a cover of that song in an album, and saying like, there's a lot of hardships in Stockton.
Yeah.
There's a lot of adversity that each and every person faces, and even I have things going on in my life that are hard to discuss, hard to face. But just a reminder to each and every person that lives here, like we can overcome. Like there's hope. Imagine a world that's better with peace and somewhere over the rainbow. I love singing songs that that give hope to people. So. If I did, I'd just be to inspire others.
Yeah, I think that's what the arts does for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in any form, in music, you know, visual art, making movies, you know, anything they do. I mean, it gives us something to be happy about, a way to express ourselves. There was right now, there's a big discussion on Facebook about what to do with the city hall. Have you heard about that?
I don't think I have. Have you?
If you went into more detail, I might have.
So some people, they want to make it into housing,
Oh, okay.
and then other people, they said, it should be a museum, an art space, or this or that. What do you guys think? The city hall, they want to. They don't want it to be a city hall. So what would you do with it? It's a really beautiful historic building,
Yeah.
a landmark.
So, we do need more housing here in Stockton.
Right.
But one thing about the history of Stockton is that a lot of our historical buildings were torn down
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
past. And I think something like the City Hall should be recognized and as part of our history. So I would go for museum.
Oh, you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because people don't know our history, and people don't know the history of Stockton, and having a museum that teaches that'd be awesome.
So maybe that could be a historical museum.
A historical museum would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Because like the Hagen now, it's more of an art museum,
Mhm.
I think. So,
Yeah. On the similar note, I think a historic museum for that would be most appropriate. I know as part of the surf program, the first week during our orientation, we got to have basically like a Stockton history lesson by Philip Merlo. Who also works at the Hagen Museum,
Mhm.
and he just did a beautiful job of just breaking down, you know, specifically like why downtown is the way it is now, and kind of giving us a good picture of like how our city has developed and grown, and from when it started, or when people had first begun to start writing, you know, history, making written history for us to track. And we actually did also get to go on a walking tour downtown of Stockton, and it was just really eye-opening and breathtaking when we would walk by and he would say, oh yeah, this building used to be a hotel and a movie theater, and now it's like one of them was like the Soloros jewelry, where the blue.
Soloros.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
he was saying that used to be a big theater, and that there used to be a lot of theaters, and then we would walk. I forgot what street, but it's the street. Oh, I want to say it's Market, where Louis Market is, like a block before you.
I think that's Main Street.
Main Street. Okay, there's like a giant dirt plot basically.
Yeah, it used to be the Earl Hotel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it was just really, you know, for me especially, like, because I spent so much downtown, so much of my life basically downtown, because I went to school there and I spent a lot of time there. It was just like, wow, I'd never realized like there's so much history and there's so much we don't know about what we used to be and like what we used to have. So we could do something where it's, because it's also empowering too, like being able to recognize like why are things the way they are, and why are people in certain places. He did a beautiful job explaining like redlining and stuff like that on specific communities, like the Filipino community, and he explained Boggs Track and all these different parts, you know, that people don't really realize was part of our history. And I think if we could include that in a place downtown, especially if we did that at City Hall and converted that into a historic museum, I think that'd be powerful.
All right.
Yep.
Dan Court, you heard it here.
heard it.
Historic Museum.
Yeah. I do want to make a correction. Philip Murrow actually works at the Mickey Grove Museum.
Oh,
the Mickey
okay,
Grove
thank
Museum.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
So I just want to mention about the Merlot family.
Oh, okay.
They, so you've been in the Bob Hope Theater, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He saved that.
Really?
They saved that from being torn down and being made into a parking lot.
Oh, another parking lot.
Can you imagine not having that building?
It's so beautiful
It's-
inside now.
oh
I
my
think
gosh.
I would have been furious.
The first time I
Yes.
went in there, I was just, my jaw dropped. Every step
Yeah.
that I took up the stairs, I was like, this
There
is
you go.
so beautiful. In the architecture in there. It's
Have you been in
awe-inspiring.
the building next door to it, the California building?
I haven't yet.
Oh my word!
We have to go in there too.
You got to go in there. The most beautiful staircase and
Okay.
all the gold gilding on the roof
Wow.
and all these buildings. We used to have First Night. Have you heard of First Night?
I haven't.
So it's a special art celebration on New Year's Eve, and it's usually in downtown. And I used to coordinate all the art for it, and we'd open all these buildings, and people would be able to go in and. Like in the California building, there was a group of singers, and they were all up the stairs in their tuxedos, like red and black tuxedos, and they were singing these songs, and the people were like in the lobby watching and listening to them.
Wow.
It was just absolutely amazing.
I gotta check that out.
Oh my gosh,
So-
that sounds so awesome.
Do they still do that? The first.
No, they got rid of First Night,
Oh.
unfortunately. I'd love to bring it back.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So maybe when you guys come back to, you're going to be in Stockton. When you come back to Stockton, we just need like a team to bring it back.
Yeah.
And there is a team. There's a team that works so diligently on bringing life downtown, and there's so many people I've met. I didn't even realize that how many people there are with a passion to just improve our downtown.
For sure.
But putting that into one of their initiatives would be an amazing.
All right.
amazing-
Tell that to Jasmine.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So so we could all get together, and it's like having an art splash, like an art walk on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at midnight you have like the fireworks, and my favorite one. This was before they built the courthouse, the new courthouse.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
And they had Hunter Square, and that is like was the most historic spot in all of downtown, where they had the old fountain there at Hunter Square, and all the activities for First Night were right around that area, and then at midnight, I still can't believe it. They went up to the old the courthouse, the blue building
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
on the corner, and they shot fireworks
Wow.
from the courthouse over in the sky, over top of that beautiful fountain right in the middle of Hunter Square.
Wow.
It was absolutely
That's
amazing.
beautiful. Wow.
So that's the kind of thing I want to see again.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
life downtown.
Yep.
Life put back here in Stockton.
So I think we're getting ready to wrap this up, and you guys, you've been just wonderful. Your passion for Stockton and for history and the arts, and coming back to Stockton, staying in Stockton, giving your all to what we have here, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's the first time I've ever done this, so.
Same.
But thank you it's a great experience.
Yeah.
So everybody, look forward to going to Hatch. What's the street? Do you guys
It's
remember?
off of Union. It's 40S Union.
Union. So there are new spaces on Union. It's just, I think, a few streets over the tracks. And that's going to be probably mid-August.
Yes,
Mhm.
mid-August.
Mid-August, and then maybe grand opening September.
September.
All right.
Yeah. So it's coming.
It's coming.
Yes,
It's on its way, and
yes.
it'll happen quickly.
That's so exciting. Well, that's all the time we have today, and I'll see you again next week on Behind the Art Scene.